No, very plugged in. He's getting it wrong because he can't conjecture. The reason that Hillary had a secret server, which I focus on and explain in my new book Armageddon, is that she needed to keep the bribery ring she was operating secret. Her entire tenure as Secretary of State was overwhelmingly driven by a bribery conspiracy with her husband. I call it a RICO, where a company named Teneo that was set up by Bill Clinton's former chief of staff would go to corporations and countries that had issues before the U.S. government, and in particular before the State Department. And they would learn about the problem, and they'd say, well, the key to your solution is bring Bill Clinton in to give a speech. And they would, and they'd pay him, as you know, these huge fees. They were not campaign contributions or grants to the foundation. They were personal payments to Bill that ended up in Bill and Hillary's joint checking account. They had no separate accounts. And Hillary would then do the favor that was required. Did Vladimir Putin want to control 20% of America's uranium reserve? Well, to buy the Canadian mining company that owned it, he needed State Department approval. So Bill flies to Moscow, gives $1 million worth of speeches. The money's put in Hillary's bank account, and Hillary signs off on the permission. Did the Clintons want a guy named Gupta, who gave them $100 million to the foundation to get the contract to do all the mining in Colombia? Well, they wired it with Uribe, the president of Colombia, and got Gupta to give Bill Clinton $1 million to negotiate the deal, and Hillary approved it. All of these had to be conducted by email, and she needed to keep the email server secret so it could never be discovered by the media or the public. And this was not an act of negligence or carelessness or forgetfulness. It was a deliberate act of concealment. And when the 32,000 emails that she did not turn over were deleted, she thought she was out of the woods. She may still have some liability for that, because there is still a trove of emails, not from her, but from her Huma Abedin and Cheryl Mills, her immediate staff, to the foundation and to Teneo, that are now be subject to judicial review. And they're saying the State Department says we can't release this for 2.5 years, and the judge may require them to do it now. But the emails were the smoking gun. That was how the bribery went down. And she needed to keep it secret, and that's why she had a secret server. She would rather the Russians and the Chinese have the opportunity to hack her than that the American media have the opportunity to learn the truth.
When you look at Hillary Clinton, what is she driven by on a personal level, on a micro level, Dick? Is she driven by dollars and cents, ideology? What is she driven by?
Well, it's a moving target. When she first entered public life, she was driven by a high sense of her own virtue. She believed that she was the last good person on earth, and that she would follow the dictates of her conscience and would do wonderful things for the human race. And in return, she felt that she could do anything to advance her or Bill's career. The end justifies the means. Mother Teresa wants to feed the starving in Calcutta, so she hijacks a jet to get there faster. She also cultivated a tremendous sense of personal entitlement, because she sold herself on the myth that she could have made millions at some top Wall Street law firm, but she didn't because of her attitude and commitment to public service. It's a myth because she flunked the D.C. bar. The only bar she passed was Arkansas, and that career was not open to her. But therefore, anything she could steal was appropriate and justified, because, after all, she was so deserving, because she had given away such opportunities to make money in order to serve the public. Over the years, she became addicted to wealth. It started by having a huge staff at her beck and call in the Arkansas governor's mansion, never paying rent or utilities or insurance, never driving herself, never having to pay for airfare, never having to pay for babysitters, for entertainment, for housekeeping or anything. And then it developed further in 8 years in the White House. So for 18 years, she never had to pay for anything. Then when she left office as First Lady, and there were no such perks available to senators, although she did spend $750,000 of taxpayer money on private jets, she and Bill tried to recreate that lifestyle by making money because she might run for president. And he was a former president. And then when that went away, she was Secretary of State, and the bribery became even more lucrative. And then she might be president again. And whereas before she used to seek money in order to get power, campaign contributions and stuff, now she seeks power because it's a great way to make money. So what motivates her is definitely not ideology, cross that one off, but a sense of ruthless ambition powered by a sense of overwhelming entitlement.
Dick Morris joining us here. He is the author of the amazing new book, Armageddon, How Trump Can Beat Hillary. I just want to ask you a couple more